Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the single player Let's Play series. So today, well, I have some bad news. I updated the pack. We're at, what, I think 3.1.10, and I noticed that the locomotive we set up last episode is already gone. I don't know where it went. I did not realize I needed to tell it to not go anywhere, but it's gone. I have done a command to try to detect it. You can see here, effect give, any little logistics, energy locomotive, not finding anything here. If I went for a, let's see, chest car, for example, because we had 3 of those, nothing, no entity found. So all of this stuff that we did here basically was done for naught. And so I could rebuild it, but honestly, I'm not feeling super duper inclined to do that. It just doesn't seem super worth doing. So I think maybe today we'll get into a new mod, get into a new quest chapter altogether, break into some new technology, but not overdo it in that process, because I like the setup that we have here, and I don't want to tear all of this down. I don't plan on tearing all of this down, and I don't remember putting any of this in here. So apparently I did some mining at some point, probably before the last few episodes, and just forgot about it. My bad. So, yeah, I don't really know exactly what we're going to do here, what we're going to do to correct this, but I think we'll figure it out. I also went through and replanted... That's interesting. These are breaking differently now. You used to pick them like a... That's weird. You used to pick them like a bush, and now they just break. We did get a Farmer's Delight update. As you can tell, my arm wasn't swinging there, so you know that that wasn't V-tweaks. V-tweaks will make your arm swing and will spawn the item at your feet. That's not what was happening there. So I think these tomato vines are changed a little bit, and they now handle themselves. But I planted a whole bunch of tomato vines because those are not automatable. Those are, rather, they are automatable, but they are not automated. So I didn't want to run out of them, and went ahead and did that just in case. I've also been forgetting that I have to turn off the enchantment glint. Let's see, colors. There we go. That's better. Now I can actually see myself. Anyways, weird distractions aside, I think what we're going to do today is break into thermal expansion finally. This is not something that I wanted to do quite so soon, but this is the next progression step for us. I'm trying not to go too fast because I do really enjoy the industrial phase that we're in right now. But we already have wasted a lot of time setting up infrastructure that is now not working. And rather than getting burnt twice, doing it again, and setting the barge back up again, or the locomotive back up again, I think I'm just gonna call it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not really gonna fiddle around with it anymore. I think I'd rather do something a little bit cooler. So let's look into what all it takes to get a pulverizer. This is not going to be an easy process, and in fact, we can go ahead and grab some deployers now. We can go ahead and grab a handful of other components from Create, because I know we're going to need them. We've got water wheels already. We've got everything else. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Good. So we are going to need a pulverizer. Oh, right. The recipe is slightly different now. So we don't need this. Never mind. Disregard. I was thinking of the redstone components that are no longer part of the recipe. So to make ourselves a pulverizer, we are going to need another crushing wheel. That's fine. We've seen this recipe before. We'll need to get our mechanical crafter set up at the larger scale, but we still have the crafter that we were using, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and bookmark this pulverizer because I keep forgetting about it. We're going to need, looks like, a good bit of steel scaffolding. So let's go ahead and make some more. Do I have what I need there? No. That is okay. We'll do that. And we'll only need 8 of them. We will need a steel fence, 3 hoppers, looks like we will also need engineering blocks. So we'll need 1 light, 1 redstone. We'll need a machine frame, which is everything here. And then we're going to need some tin. So let's grab a tin gear. And I think with all these resources, we should be able, hopefully soon, be able to get what we're going for. So here's my thought process. First of all, you are the right press. Okay, good. My thought process here is that we are having issues with long-term logistics, or long-range logistics, right? Going from all the way over there to all the way over here. So I'm thinking that it might be time to get into thermal just so that we can borrow it for a tiny little bit and get ourselves into well, actually, there's two things, but I was thinking of Endurium, because Endurium unlocks dimensional storage, and so we could do these recipes here. The Endurium Blend recipe should still work for us, but you can only get Ender Pearl dust this one way, which is with the Pulverizer, so that is my concern. By creating that machine frame, we have now enabled the entire thermal quest line, so let's go ahead and jump into that. That'll get us the book and the wrench. We'll combine the book. We'll combine the wrench. Maybe. There we go. And so that is that. Now, you can see that this quest line is pretty convoluted, or at least slightly convoluted, but you can see interdimensional storage is here. I don't know why I locked it behind inductive smelting. It's not technically locked behind inductive smelting, but it is kind of, as is this, because you'll need, actually, no, it's not. Yeah, I should move those. I should put those behind thermal frameworks. My bad. Apologies to those playing who were like, what the heck? Why? That I don't know. I don't know why. So, let's see. What are we missing at this point? We need the crushing wheels. We need iron sheet metal. Do I still have iron? Yes, I do. Oh, I also just have the sheet metal ready. I think it was 3, right? 3. We got the hoppers. So we just need the crushing wheels. So we're going to need a bunch of stone. Let's see. So we need... I'm sorry. 21. So we need 16 andesite alloy, which I think I have more in here. Yep. Okay. And then I will also need 1 stone and 4 planks. So, okay, let's go and get this crafted up. Don't mind the nighttime. Let's head over here to our large boy. And we can slightly reconfigure this without having to do, like, too much reconfiguration. I think we should be pretty good. So we'll just break these, point them there like so. And now we should be able to just go plunk, plunk, plunk. Yep, just like that should work. We put down our 16 andesite alloy, our 4 planks, and our 1 piece of granite, and that should get us going with 2 more crushing wheels. Perfect. We'll go ahead and break these again. Put them back right there. How did I have this configured again? Was it like this? Probably. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Going from there. Yep, okay, looks good. So, looking at the recipe, right? So, you'll notice that all of these recipes follow a template. So, you're always going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, these 3 here. You're always going to have a, what is it, light on the left, redstone on the left, and light on the right, and you're always going to have a mechanical or a machine frame there. And then the items on the top and this top row here, these 3, and then these 3 here, these are the only ones that may change. All the other things for thermal machines will always be in that same format. So we'll craft those all together and get ourselves a Pulverizer, our very first thermal machine. And that is a big deal because we can not only replace our crushing wheel, or our mechanical crusher, our big crusher, if we really wanted to, which I don't. That's not at all the plan. Not only could we do that if we wanted to, but we could also now create ender dust, which is the bigger reason why we're even here and doing this. Ah, yes, I have overlooked this. While I was gone, rebuilt our industrial squeezer inside where the coke oven used to be, and I upgraded our blast furnace. I completely forgot to talk about this, and I apologize. So I made these blast furnace preheaters. So these guys are pretty straightforward to make. It's just some iron sheet metal, a fluid pipe, and an external heater. And you've seen all of these things before, right? Just a bunch of copper and another iron sheet metal. And then the improved blast furnace, so blast brick. There's the reinforced blast brick variant, and this is just normal blast brick with a steel plate. And then you form this entire structure by putting a hopper on the top of the standard 3x3x3 blast oven shape multi-block. So this still takes up a 3x3x3. It just, has a smaller workspace here. And then what we can do with this is actually automate the inputs and outputs. So inputs can go into the top now, which is very convenient. And even more convenient than that is out of the front, we can output anything that comes out of this slot. And out of the back, we can output any of the flux or the slag that comes out of here. So I have routed the slag underground and straight up into with some vertical conveyor belts straight up into this barrel. So I automated that, just left that going with our excess charcoal from the old setup that we had for charcoal production. I just let it run, and it has been going really well. Now, we have this one block wonder, and I'm not really sure how to connect it to power because, frankly, I feel like it's a little bit too easy to just, like, grab an MV or an HV, but that might just be the move. Maybe MV, actually. Let's do MV. And I don't think we're going to need anything else, except for some ender pearls, which is like basically the only thing that's still left that we need this thing for. Let's grab maybe 10 crushed ender pearl. Then we're going to need lead and diamond dust. Can you do diamond dust only in the pulverizer? Okay. So let's see if I wanted to do Endurium Blend. That is a ratio of 2 ender pearl, 3, and 1. So we would need... Let's make this ratio a little bit easier. Let's do 20. Come on. Diamond 10, and lead another 10. So that'd be 20, 30, and 10. 2, 3, and 1. So now we can... I'll go ahead and toss in... Set this up somewhere. I don't know where. Again, I'm a little bit confused about what would be the best move for that, so maybe we just put it here for now, because this is probably not going to be the focus for the next, like, I'm not, just because I'm here and I'm doing stuff in thermal does not mean that I'm quote-unquote getting into thermal at the moment. I just have no other tools for this technology that I need. So let's go and toss the lead into our large crusher because it can handle it way faster. Oh man, nice shot. And, ooh, that is very fast. I forget how fast that is. And then we can start working from there. Now, ender pearl dust is used for one other thing. So I may actually steal that one and go get another one to refill it with while we work on stuff. And that is for the Temp Pad. And the Temp Pad is something I've been dying to make. I really have. So this pack, if you've been playing, you've noticed that there are no waystones. There's no teleportation modules. There's nothing you can do. There's no RF tools, matter receivers and transmitters. There's none of that. And I don't see a point in adding something like that to a pack like this. Because my goal this time around was to go for something a little more rustic, a little more, wire spaghetti and running around / elytra-ing around by hand. But one of the things that I did want to include was some way to teleport. So I went with the telepad, or the temp pad rather. So you're going to need a machine base to get started. And then you'll need to get yourself an information screen. So the information screen is pretty unhelpful on its own. Entirely unhelpful on its own, really. And then you can use it to display information on the temp pad itself. So what we'll do is we'll get ourselves some of this nether brass blend. And we'll go smelt that up. Ooh, let me grab another ender pearl real quick. I almost forgot. So if we toss those in, we should be making a decent bit of progress. Once we smelt this up, this should get us nether brass ingots. And nether brass ingots are mostly an aesthetic or a decorational block. So, you know, you can do a bunch of chains and other things. But I thought that it fit the theme for Temp Pad pretty much perfectly. So we're going to make our Temp Pad out of that. And the only thing that we're missing is a redstone lamp and a... Right. Glowstone is currently doing a weird thing. And then we should have everything. Then we'll just need our temp pad. So we'll do, right, we have everything in our inventory, so we'll just do it manually. And that will get us a temp pad. Hooray. So, temp pads are not even in the quest lines for some reason. I don't know why I hadn't thought about that. But what we can do is right click on it and we can choose our color. I like this color, so I'm just going to leave it. The wiki doesn't do anything, so ignore choice 3. Choice 1 lets you pick your color, and then choice 2 is where you actually set your destinations that you want to be able to teleport to. Now, I understand that there is some sort of Marvel thing that this is from. I don't want to sound like I'm outdated. I just haven't really been up or interested in Marvel comics in a very, very long time, like 10 years long. But I do know that this is from one of the latest series, so before you go wondering, oh, does he even know? Yes, I do roughly know. I just don't care. This is a cool thing anyways. It has a cool user interface. Now, we'll run a program, and what we'll do is we'll add a location, and we're going to call this one home. And we just have to click on add manually. And so now, if ever I am out and about, let's say, actually, really quickly, let's do this. Let's go to the end portal. Enable. Let's fly on over to the end portal and set one there. And we can have the ability to go back and forth. Took a little bit of traversal, but we made it. Let me go and take this out here. New recipes. Oh yeah, so Farmer's Delight got a lot of new foods recently. Cool, glowberry custard. Yeah, so if we look at Delight, there are a handful of new foods now. So there's a new sandy shrub, there's glowberry custard, some new salmon rolls, some kelp rolls, kelp roll slice. So definitely looks a little more economical to do the slices. Bone broth can be made, and then mushroom rice and rice roll medley. This is like the whole thing, and it gets placed down. But now that we're here, let's go ahead and right click and do run program, new location, and portal, add location. And now if I wanted to head home, I'll just right click on it, run program, home, teleport. Opens up a door, we walk through the door. I could walk right through it back again if I was in a hurry, or just like really accidentally did that, I guess is also an option. But that is the temp pad. That will get us there and back. So now our temp pad has to recharge, so you can see it is doing that now. It takes 3 minutes for it to go through a full charge, so once you have done a teleport, you'll have to wait 3 minutes until you can do it again. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I went with temp pad. Not only is it a cool like UI that really matches this pack, but it's also just like, you know, part of the theme of having to wait before you just kind of fly around everywhere. And it doesn't cost XP to do. You can make it cost XP, but it doesn't. Now, Endurium Blend is made, so we can go ahead and get that cooking up. And Endurium is pretty much like the latest late game resource you can get in this pack, aside from 2 other things. So there is unobtainium, and there is... what's the other one that I'm trying to think of? There are the space ores. So if we look at Beyond Earth, there are basically, realistically, Calorite is like the latest game that it gets, but I haven't really been able to think of any uses for Calorite. If you have any ideas of like mods I could add that I could use to integrate with late game stuff, I'm absolutely open to ideas. I think it'd be really cool to do something like, I don't know, I know I'm talking a little bit more on the pack dev side, and that's, you know, just kind of how it is sometimes. But if you have any thoughts on like maybe I could install a certain mod and have it gated behind going to all the space areas, or If you think it'd be cool to make an easier recipe using that, I don't know, whatever you have in mind. I'm open to ideas. Anyways, I don't need anywhere near as much Endurium as I'm making. I have all the materials because we've been playing in this world for a decently long time, and I've been playing in it for a very long time. I just don't record every single thing that I do. So I think we're good resource-wise that we can afford to do stuff like this. So we'll do that, and this will end up giving us 20 Endurium. So like I said, Endurium is like the latest game that we can really get, the latest game material, and that is going to unlock for us quite a bit. So today we're going to get into dimensional storage. So dimensional storage is a really cool mod. It's like Ender chests or Ender storage if you've ever used that before. And if you haven't, then think of your Minecraft Ender chest, but instead of only you being able to access it, there are channels that are linked together. So, you know, you use numbers in this mod. So channel 1 is linked to a chest that's put on channel 1 is linked to all other chests that are put on channel 1. So what we can do is exactly that. And the dimensional tablet can be bound to dimensional storage so that you have multiple things all on the same channel. So I think it's a pretty cool mod, pretty cool interpretation of like interdimensional storage like that. And I find it to be very, very useful for kind of cleaning up your setups and trying to get things all in one place relatively easily. I think that's sort of the terminology that I'm looking for. Unfortunately, all of this setup here is completely useless, so I'm going to go through with vein miner mode while that tin compresses, and I'm going to take out most of this, because frankly, it's a shame, but this just did not work at all. So this will be a way cleaner setup, the new one that I'm working on, but definitely stinks that we just set this up and I'm already tearing it down, but that... if I'm already having an issue upon pack update, and the pack update didn't even update little logistics, I don't think. I'd have to double check that. But even just like a world reload breaking it, then that's not okay. And I'm not sure how that would have happened. All of these chunks should be loaded. But it is what it is. So anyways, let me clean this up and I'll be back. Alright, so we've got the entire line cleaned out. It's all gone. The connectors on the other end I did not clean up yet because we might still need them. Yeah, right, yeah, this guy. Perfect. So let's see exactly how much we may need from them. Let's go ahead and get ourselves some machine frames. Let's get 2 machine frames, I'm thinking, right now. We might move up to more at some point. We'll do that, and then we'll grab some Endurium. And we'll need, eventually, to get another Temp Pad, but that is totally fine right now. So if we just put these two together, we can get ourselves dimensional storage. And that is the dimensional chest advancement. And what we can do is hook up our dimensional chest to our main pipe network here. So let me grab, let's see, pipe. We have the high extraction module, and we just have some plain pipes. Maybe I'll grab a couple more than just the one, because I'm not sure exactly where I want to put this, but I might just put it right here, because it's here and there's nothing else going on here. So I could do that, and I could put an extract there on north dimensional chest. And then put this guy back down. Delightful. Looks good. Looks good enough. I mean, not great. Maybe we drop it down another block even? Can't say that I have any reason not to do that, so may as well. So it has a cool little opening and closing animation. I love that. And when you open it up, you're going to see this little tab here on the right, and it'll open and close. It'll slide in and out. So this button you can use to open the control panel. And the control panel allows you to choose between public or private to your player. You can change that frequency that I discussed. So if I put in any letters here, it's not going to work. It's going to just change it back to 1. But if I put any number in here between 1 and I think it's 300, but maybe it's any number. I don't actually remember. Yeah, any number it looks like. Never mind. I don't know why I thought 300. Then that will do it. And then locked. I don't actually really understand what locked does. I think, oh, clearly by me getting my high extraction module back, locked means no item interactions from pipes. So we do want item interaction from pipes, so we'll put that back. But if you change your frequency, you want to make sure that it is the same across the board. Since 1 is the default, I'm going to change it to 1. And just anytime you change it, be sure to hit the change button. Otherwise, it will not apply. And there you go. That is a dimensional chest. So that, you notice the color has changed on the little dot. It was green, now it's blue. That's because it is in private mode. See the difference? And now if I place down another one right over here and put it in private mode, see it's blue as well. And if I put in my empty pipes, where did they go? Well, those 42 pipes I just had went into my pipe network. Oh, come on. See, there they are again. And so now we have a universal link that I can access from anywhere to drop off items into my main network here, which I think is just the coolest thing. This also works with refined storage, applied energistics, basically dang anything, just even a handful of chests if you wanted. But I like having it hooked up to my pipe network because I'm really happy with the pipes, the Pretty Pipes pipe network. I think it's really cool. We'll probably use this exact same thing to start getting all of these guys out of here and somewhere actually kind of accessible. I did, by the way, put a copper upgrade and a void upgrade in each and every one of these. That way we can start producing even more and collecting even more excess, which I think will be good. So let's come over here to this hot mess that we've created and start cleaning it up. And let me turn off my magnet. So we have a couple of things that we need to do here. If you'll remember, we had the birch and the creosote, which we'll handle the creosote in just a moment. I do have a plan for that. And then we also had the iron blocks, right? So we can still do that exact same setup, but instead of going to a train track, oop, looks like I forgot something. We'll just do this and that. And that. And you. Perfect. So instead of doing the same exact train track thing that we had done before, or doing this, for example, we can actually really simplify it a lot. So here is what I have in mind. I am thinking that we could do... Ooh, you know what? Let me go grab... Let's do this the create way, because that's just kind of what I'm feeling. Sort of the create way, at least. Let's grab another brass funnel. And some birch. Oh, really quickly, of note, there is a weird interoperability issue between voiding drawers and Pretty Pipes. So if I hook up a voiding drawer and I tell you you can store 2048 of this block, for example, deep slate, and then I put in, so let's see, we have 1.7 there. How much deep slate do we have? Yeah, 1.7. Okay. And I put in more than that 2048. Instead of going directly into the drawer, it's going to overflow because to the drawer thinks that there's space because it's going to void it. But the pipes know that that drawer can only store 2048 items, and they're not acknowledging the fact that they can also void excess, so go ahead and send it on anyway. So I had all of my barrels here filled up with birch wood. My fix for that is very, very, very easy. It's a very simple fix. So if we look at the changes that I did over here, there it goes. That's fine. What I did was, you can already kind of see it. There is a drawer over here. It doesn't have to live here anymore. I just put it here for now because this was in line with the network of extract pipe that we had here before. Obviously now this is kind of dumb to put this here, but it's here now. So here's my birchwood drawer. You can see 2048 put in there. I can access this drawer using my pipe network controller guy, grid, crafting grid thingy. What is it called? I have to know now. Terminal. That's the word. That's the right word. I can access it through here. But anytime at all that I put away birch wood in my system, I have a high priority module, highest, in fact, priority, and a filter module going into the rapid hopper. So that way, anytime birchwood enters the system, it will guaranteed go into this drawer. There is no choice because the rapid hopper will always have room for more because it's fast, and the rapid hopper doesn't mind forcing the insert. I don't know why pipes don't, but you know, honestly, I know that the void mechanic is a very strange mechanic to implement and support, so I'm not complaining. Just an FYI, if you run into the same issue, you can do something sort of like that. Anyways, weird rant aside, weird rant number 2, I think, for the day. Let me go ahead and clean up some of this pipe work because it is a bit of a mess. Not the worst I've done, but definitely looks horrible without the scaffolding and supporting that I did, so we'll not be keeping that around. And in fact, I may go ahead and disconnect this as well. What we can do is the following, just like that. I think that will work out just fine. And I'll just probably drop this down a little bit. And let me see if I can vein mine pipes. I cannot. Okay. Clearly the lighting engine is having a bit of a hard time over here. There we go. That's more like normal light. Hey, very nice. I'll have to clean this up a little bit as well. As you can see, no doubt it is a little bit messy. And we'll go and take you out as well. I did forget to clean this piece up. But what we can do is actually pretty cool. We can, come on, a little more. There we go. We can stop doing this, because this looked weird and I didn't like it. And what we can do instead is have you pipe over here. Here, let me show you what I have in mind. So, we will put a dimensional chest, the one that's linked to us. You can even see it says owner is me, right there. And I am going to snag this piece of birchwood. And we are going to put that right there. And if I walk right here, I should be able to reach the filter slot until you only allow for birchwood to go in there. So now when I toss in birchwood here, I'm assuming it did the right thing. I honestly can't tell. We'll just sit here and watch, I guess. Take your time. Oh, this is set to the wrong setting. There we go. That was my bad. Let me just accelerate this a little bit. There we go. So we saw that time it went into here, and it's gone now, so we can tell pretty clearly that that worked. I think the scaffolding here actually will still be helpful. Oh, I've fallen, and I can't seem to get up. That's not very helpful. And I'm going to leave that hole there because I want to know where to patch up later. And then what we can do is I'm also going to just share this one connector here that I've created. And the question is do we want it to go around the top here? And I think the answer might be yes. We could do something like this. Those are going to try to go into the trash, and I don't want that, so... I mean, it's iron. We have plenty, but... Here they come. Yeah, we don't want that. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Nope. We'll do that. We'll do that. And now, all of our iron should start coming through here as well. So let's quickly go patch in that iron back into where it belongs, just to test it out, make sure it works. Let's see, so it was down here. So that's going to get extracted. We should have plenty of time to run around. We should see our iron is going to come up and over into here, and it disappears immediately because it's getting imported into our main network. Hooray! Look, Ma, no train tracks. Again, this is not what I wanted. I wanted a cool industrial-looking setup, but this is just what we have, unfortunately, and that's fine. It is what it is. So, with that, I think we can kind of do something similar for our for our creosote. So what we can do with the creosote is do a tank. So if we grab the tank variant here, and that is called a dimensional tank, we're just going to need a fluid cell. We're going to need some bronze for that. Can bronze be made in the arc furnace? I would assume so. Yeah, yep. It's an alloy of 3 copper. So let's do 6. Let's do 9 actually. And so it's 3 to 1. So we'll do 3 tin. Go ahead and toss that in our arc furnace and turn that into bronze. And so let's see. We're going to need 2 of these. We're going to need 2 bronze gears. Looks like my calculations were right. We'll grab you. And you. Go ahead and grab these extras just in case. Never know. And so now we should be able to make ourselves 2 of those. And we've got the Endurium. Let's grab 1 more. And that will get us 2 dimensional tanks. And what you'll notice is that the dimensional tank works and looks and acts a lot like... Let me grab some tuff real quick and some grass. Looks and acts a lot like the dimensional chest, except it has a tank in it. And so you can tell it's an auto eject or not. Everything else is exactly the same though. So very, very, very straightforward to use for getting fluids out and about. So let's sleep off the night. And we should now be able to go through and set this up in a little cleaner of a method as well. So over here, we have our fluid pump. I put away all my pipes. Hang on. That's not good. And one of the things you probably are thinking to yourself, well, why don't I use other mods that you may already know were installed in this pack? And that's because I don't usually do what I'm doing here. I used a lot of the pipes mod before. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it what I consider to be the hard way and use these immersive pipes, use the create pipes, use the immersive wires for quite a while. I'll keep up with this for probably another 10 episodes if I can. And then at some point, we're going to get that sweet release of, like, I'm just going to go through and clean everything out. And then we won't have as much wire spaghetti, and we won't have as many pumps taking up a whole 2 blocks tall of space. And it'll be really a nice new clean setup. And I think that'll be sort of its own ordeal for sure when we get to that point. But I think that's going to be very helpful. So we are already pumping out of here. Maybe we just reuse this. So let me remember... let's grab you. So facing side is a fluid input. This is the fluid output. Right, that makes sense. So why don't we just put the dimensional tank right here? Now I want to configure it first, right? So let's put it down, configure it to private. Frequency 1 is fine. And I'm going to keep you idle. And so let's do that. And I am the owner, and we'll put that right down. And look at that. We're just going to go ahead and get filled up with creosote oil. We also get some pretty cool information about it in this UI. I think it's cool, at least. So we can know exactly how much creosote is in here. I think it has a buffer of 16 buckets. It tells me the name of the liquid, what temperature the liquid is at. So this is just a 27 degrees Celsius, like a pretty room temperature fluid. It does not emit light, and it's not a gas. It's not gaseous. So I think those are just, you know, they're not at all helpful factoids, but they're cool because it's not something we usually get to see when working with fluids. For some reason, in the latest versions of Minecraft, Forge has really obfuscated fluids overall, like just entirely changed them up to be a little bit more, you know, obscure and a little less, you know, transparent as far as what they are or how they're made or whatever. And sometimes, this is the other funny thing, sometimes fluids don't have a block form anymore, which I think is something that is not new. It's been around for quite a while, actually. But, like, if you're used to the 1.12 era of modding, the fact that fluids themselves don't actually have a block form sometimes is really confusing. And then there are also other mods. This one's actually really funny. There's a mod from Beyond Earth, the oxygen loader, will create oxygen, and this looks like it's a fluid, but it's actually just a made up reservoir. This does not actually exist. Oxygen is not a thing. It's just a made up number that goes up and down. Most of this game is just made up numbers, fair, but you know, I think that's just kind of a fun factoid that specifically works the way that it does. So, uh, normally we would need a fluid tank or fluid pump to get fluids into our creosote tank here, which is, by the way, completely full. So let me demonstrate really quickly that this works by taking out an entire layer, and then we'll empty it from there. So now you can see that we were missing 64 millibuckets. Sorry, no. What is that number? Hang on. That is a weird number. I mean, 72, I guess? Weird. Okay. So yeah, 72 millibuckets are now missing. 72,000 millibuckets, mind you. So we put our dimensional tank under here. It doesn't have to be under, but I just like for it to be. Set it to private. You see immediately it knows, hey, right, we had creosote in here. And if I tell it to go into auto eject, it's going to start filling up my tank for me. And I don't even need a pipe anymore. So while this was very expensive and took us a really long time to get here, this has an incredibly large added convenience for us. So I think that is a very, very, very helpful thing to have around. Now, there is... Why did I have an extra export card? I'm a little concerned about that. Rockets, and I also just put away my pneumatic drill, so my jackhammer. There we go. I'm not sure where that extra export pipe export upgrade went or came from. I'm a little concerned, a little scared. Anyways, let's go put these rockets back. Come on, there we go. So, with all of this cleaned up now, we don't have all this stuff sitting around, I think we're a little bit better. Oh, the export came from when we cleaned up the pipes coming off of the conveyor. That's right. Okay, I'm a little less afraid of it now. So one of the cool things that we can do is we can also access that same exact chest that we are using to kind of clean up and consolidate everything into here. We can use that for our own uses as well. So let's go ahead and get another temp pad made. I know you're wondering, why am I making another temp pad? I just made a temp pad. Why do we need another one? Well, the reason is actually kind of straightforward. Right, I said alt-click. Thank you. And that reason is mostly just the fact that... Wait, hang on. Was there... Okay. For some reason, my eyes messed with me a little bit, and it looked like there were multiple recipes for glowstone block. And so what we can do is we can actually take our temp pad and transform it a little bit. And so we're going to need 1 Endurium and 1 Ender Pearl Dust to do that. So let's go ahead and get that Ender Pearl Dust so we can make ourselves a second temp pad. This temp pad will be immediately consumed for a new crafting recipe, so don't worry about the technicalities there of having 2. That said, you can have as many temp pads as you want. All of your saved locations are per temp pad, so completely optional as to how many you decide to have. But if I right-click this one and go to Run Program, you'll see it doesn't have anything on it. Now, if I take this back to the smithing table, we can do something really cool with it. We can turn it into a dimensional tablet. So the dimensional tablet, if you right-click on it, is not connected to any dimensional chest. We have to go to the dimensional chest we want to bind it to and shift right-click on it. Now it's linked, and if we look here, you'll see it's linked on frequency 1. Collecting is set to no, and that is good. And we can enable or disable auto-collecting, but we're not going to do that right now. There are also ways to set up the filters, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember what they are. They may actually be none. I don't remember. I don't remember. But it's linked, and so what we can do now is right-click and put anything in the world we want. And you can see that we just got some birch wood, I believe that was. And if I am out and about and doing some exploring or whatever, or I'm just working and I want to clean up, I can just toss stuff in here, and it will get cleaned up for us. So yeah, that is, I think, some pretty incredible tech, something that I've really been looking forward to getting. Let's do this weird harvesting with these tomato vines that I don't really know what's going on here with these, but whatever. And then I think we might be getting close to good for the episode, because I think we've gotten quite a lot done already, consolidating, cleaning up, and kind of moving into the future. And again, I don't have to turn around and go back right in there where I was before to do all of the crafting cleanup and stuff. I'm good. I'm right where I am. Nothing needs to change. We're good. you know, I can just do it while I'm on the go. And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts, is just the fact that we don't have to stop or turn around and go clean up our inventories at all anymore. We can just dump it all in here, and it goes to a place that I can actually kind of look at and understand. Now, it is a very realistic possibility that I may move this guy, the spout, and move it over to the tank that we have over closer to home, because right now this tank is doing nothing. I set up the locomotives and was like, I know that I'll use the creosote at some point, and I'll set that up later. But now that the locomotives are set up and equally as fast gone, I don't really know what else to do. So I may end up, you know, setting up the creosote processing over here. I may tear down this whole tank and move the creosote processing somewhere else that makes it a little more easy to get hold of. So we will just see. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys enjoy all the unfortunate changes that happened in this episode. Again, I do feel pretty bad about the logistics, the little logistics stuff not working out too well. I'm going to have to investigate that and see if anyone else has run into that issue as well. I know that Elder Sign really hasn't, from what I've seen. In fact, Elder Sign is using little logistics pretty avidly, which is very cool. I don't know if there's just something up with my world, or my load time is like somehow doing something weird, or if the update broke it. Again, I'm not sure. Maybe if Elder Sign ends up updating as well, they can report back to me. We'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's kind of cool that you can see just like around the side of me a little bit. That's neat. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.